Well, we're going to go over them anyway.
I think it was the night that I was doing it.
Oh, okay. This is number 8, and we've already covered it. I'm not going to go over it again. Yeah, we've already covered that one.
I wasn't here whenever y'all.
Okay.
But Shannon,
Let's see if this one, is that the same one? Yeah. Okay, that one, let's see if this one. Yeah, we did that one. Let's look at this one. Yeah, we did that one. We did that one twice. Did that one. I just want to make sure I'm not leaving anybody behind.
I got the notes from CJ.
A code is marked down 10%, and the are y'all not going to listen to me today? Okay. A code is marked down 10%, and the customer is given an additional second discount of 20%. I've never seen this question before. Is that the same as a single 30% discount? No, it is not.
I'm going to tell you how to do it.
Okay? It is not, because when you mark down 10%, that's a different number. And you take it off more. So usually if you take an additional 20% off, that's more off. Okay, so I would say no, you have to do at each one. Let's see what it should be. Okay.
Scroll down. There's another answer.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Which is D? Okay. Yeah, does not reduce the total cost as much. Okay, is that the only answer? Oh, that's it?
3 parts.
All right, the sale price. The regular price of the chair is $170.99. Determine the sale price if it's reduced by 10%. So 10% would be what? $17.10. So let's take $17.10 off of it. And then what's $17.10 times 2? $34.20. And then take $34.20 off of it. Now a lot of you are saying, what the heck is he doing? I'm doing it where? In my head. Everybody in this room and in Easily and Skyping should be able to do 10% and 20% in your head. All of us have had 12 years of school. You should be able to do that. I'm going to show you how to do that in your head. Okay? No, it's not. Not when everybody's had 12 years of school. 170.99. And all you have to do is move the decimal. What's 10% of 170.99? 17.099, which is equal to 1710. How did I get 17.099? I moved the decimal one place to the left. So if I move 10%, I move it one place to the left. If I do 100%, I move it 2 places to the left. So if that's 10%, so let's go ahead and do that. So 170 minus 1710. So 99 minus 10 is 89. And 170 minus 17 is what? That's going to be a 3. And 16 is 153. Y'all check my math. 153.89. Now what is 10% of 153.89? 10% would be 15 what? 39? And what's 1539 times 2? Why am I doing times 2? Because what's 10% times 2? 20%. So if 20% is times 2, then what's this times 2? Well, just add it together. And that's going to be what? 78 and 30. So I'm going to subtract 30, 78. And y'all should be able to do this. I mean, honestly. And you can use is of percent over 100 twice, because that's what you can do that. Or you can do it at 10% and 20% and 30%. You can even do 15%. What would 15% be if 10% you take half of that, which is what? $8.55. So add $8.55. But if you can't add, subtract, multiply, divide in your head, guess what? You can't do what I'm telling you. So that kind of narrows it down a little bit. So what's 89 minus 78? 11 cents? And what's 153 minus 30? 123? Now y'all check my math, please, on the calculator and tell me if I got it. So it should be 123.11 unless y'all can find an error. So that'd be 123.11. I got it right. Okay, what?
No, determine the price of the chair. Go back to the last one. You might want to zoom out a little bit.
You say A and B up there.
There's a part C.
Go down.
I did B, didn't I?
Yeah, so there's a part C.
C is 170.99 reduced by 30%.
Okay, and reduced by 30%. Okay, that's when, move this over. What's 10% of 170? 1710. So what's 30%? Multiply 1710 times 3, and that's going to be 21, that's going to be 51.3. Somebody check me. Multiply 1710 times 3. I got 51.3. What'd y'all get? So I'm going to subtract, take 170.99 and subtract 51.3. And somebody tell me what you get.
119.69.
119.69. I'm trying. It won't let me go down there. There we go. One what?
1969.
Now, as you can see, it is not the same. But which one's better? Taking a blanket 30% or taking it in steps? Steps. But the question didn't ask which is less. It said, is it different? There is a difference. A lot of people don't realize that there are differences in percentages. You have to be careful. Okay? Question on that one? Is it a test question? No, because I've never seen it before. This is a new question. I've never seen that question before.
I did like 3 of those.
Say again?
I did like 3 of those when I was doing one.
Well, what I'm saying is, this is the first semester I've seen that question. So they must have interjected that one in between this semester and last semester. Number 16. Okay, in parts determine what is the greater amount. Okay, 400 increased by 25% or 800 decreased by 25%. Well, you don't have to think too much on that because 400, let's just go by 10%. What's 10% of 400? 40. So that would be 480. Everybody with me? 20% would be 480. So,
Oh yeah, I remember.
what's 800? What is 10% of 800? 80. So what's 80 times 2? 160. 160 from that is going to be what? 640? Which one's more? The 800. Okay, so I know I took 20% off, but you think 25 is going to be different? No. I just took 20 because it was easy to do in my head. Okay, so A, 800 decreased by, oh, it was greater by, I don't know how much. So let me go ahead and do that. All right, I'm going to do it in my head. I know that 10% of 400 is 40. So 20% would be what? 80. Everybody with me? what is half of 40?
20.
And that means 20%, 20 is how much? 5%. So, what would 25% be? 80 plus what? I want y'all to tell me. 80 plus 20, right? 20 plus 5. You see it? 25%. 20 plus what? 5 is 25%. 80 plus 20 is what? 100. So this is 500. Everybody with me? Okay, now let's do 80. 10% of 800 is what? 80. Therefore, I'm sorry, 10%. What's 20%? What?
160.
160. What's 5%? Okay, people, y'all should know that. If half of 10% is 5, then what's half of 80? Y'all don't see the patterns?
Yeah, I was
5, 10, 20, you're doubling. Now, what's 25%? 20 plus 5. What's 160 plus 40?
100.
200. So what is 800 minus 200?
600.
600. So what is 600 difference to 500?
100.
So that'd be 100 right there. All right, you do the next one. Now they want 35% on the next one. So that's going to be 100. Fantastic. I feel good about myself. All right, I'm going to let y'all do that one. I've got to check my phone. I'm going to have to start checking my phone because people Skype in. Somebody in Pendleton campus called me, texted me, not before class, but 20 minutes after class had started. Some of y'all could break an anvil with a banana. I would quit if I was y'all. All right, here we go. 400. What is 10% of 400? Okay, so therefore, what's 20%? 80. And what's 30%? No, it would be 100, be 160. Sorry. My bad. Because what are you doing each time? Okay, so that'd be 160. No, it'd be 120. I'm having brain bubbles, I'm sorry.
Brain what?
Brain bubbles. I don't know where 164 came from. Okay, that should be 120 because I'm increasing it how much? In other words, do this. What's 1 times 10? 10. What's 2 times 10? 30, 20. What's 3 times 10? 30. Okay, 1 times 40, 2 times 40, 3 times 40. You with me? Okay, now what's 5%? Well, 5 is half of 10, so that means half of 40 is what?
20.
Okay, somebody tell me what 35% is. 30 plus 5 is?
140.
So decrease this by 140, somebody. And now we're
260.
going to do 800. 10% of 800 is 80. So what's 2 times 10? 20%. 2 times 80 is 160. What's 3 times 10? 30%. What's 3 times 80? 240. Capiche? What's half of 10? 5. What's half of 80?
40.
40. So somebody tell me what 35 is.
280.
280. So 280 increase, or I'm sorry, add that and decrease here by 280. So 540 versus what?
520.
520. Which one's better? The 400 increased by 35 is greater by how much? I didn't. 20. Can I type that in? Let's see.
Hold on. It would be.
Oh, there, right here. Add text. There we go. Oh my gosh, Did it go in?
No,
It didn't go in.
I
suck.
I guess you ain't.
I suck. See, I do something good and y'all don't say anything. I do something stupid and y'all don't forget. Y'all suck. 20.
I told you you would say it.
Look at there. We got it right. All right, now y'all do the last one. You could, but it takes longer. You're using your head with
I'm
this.
done with Walmart.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you like I tell my children, don't improve any more than you have to. Just stop whenever you need to. Don't improve. Don't raise the bar. Okay. Then we wonder why we're getting our butts kicked by China and Japan. All right, 400 increased by 90. Good gracious. Well, what's 10? 10% of 400 is what? 40. So we're just going to, what is 10 multiplied by to get 90%? So multiply by 9 to get 90. So what do we got to do here? And get what? 3.
2.
So 90% of 400 is 360. All right, let's do, 5% is what? 20. So now you can do 35%. What does it say? 90? Okay, we don't need 5% on this one. 800. What is 10% of 800? 80. And what do you do you got to multiply by 9 to get 90%. So therefore, multiply by 9 and what? You get 720. So let's increase this one by 360. And let's decrease this one by what?
680. 720.
720.
I was giving the answer.
And this one is going to be 760, which you should not have to use a calculator for that. And you don't need a calculator for this because $8 minus $7.20 is what? 80 cents. So it's 80. So 760 versus 80. So your answer is the 400. Now, that's a dang good question. I like that question. You know why I like it?
Because it makes
Because
our
it
brain
proves to you that your brain is better than doing all those formulas. You know how many formulas you would have to do that? You'd have to do it like 6 or 8 times. So 400 increased by what? And what's the difference? 680? That's right. I usually ask for 2 people. Okay? That's a good question. Of course, I made the test out, but I don't think that one's on there.
Well, my 2 personalities can be 2.
I'm sorry. I was talking. We're not talking about you right now. What I was trying to say is, before I was interrupted, is I done forgot. I would like to put that one on the test. Why don't I go back and put it on the test and make y'all do the test over? How about
I'm
that?
so glad I used up all 3 of my turns.
Listen, there are people that haven't taken the test, and there are people that's gotten zeros on the homework. So, I know, you had 5 flat tires, and your grandmother died 6 times, and the dog ate the computer, and, you only had 5 weeks to do this homework, so.
I made 100 on all of them except one. I mean, not 2.
Again, I was talking,
You were
and
done talking.
all about,
Walk out.
I'm not gonna say, I don't want to say is that's why I'm divorced. I can't handle it. Narcissism, I can't handle it.
I can't handle being clean all the time.
Okay. Next, we're done. We're done with, we get to go to new, good. Hallelujah. We get to do a new unit today. Don't y'all feel good about yourselves? You're past the first unit, and hopefully you made a good grade on your test. Easily, do y'all feel good about yourself?
He don't care about us.
They're sitting there going, I don't give it a rat's rear end. They'd rather be drinking in a ditch somewhere.
In a ditch.
Yeah, that's where you drink.
Maybe not in a ditch.
Okay, cardboard box. Okay. I'd rather be at a Mexican restaurant.
Oh, I'd rather be on the beach.
Dang on
There's one
tequila.
outside.
Listen, after you spend a year in the desert, you don't want to be on no sand whatsoever. All right. Let's go to our handy dandy. We probably only got 10 minutes of class left. So, but I'm going to go ahead and try to go ahead and get y'all started. Let's see. Somebody look in your outline.
It's
6.1 for what?
for unit 2.
Yeah.
6.1.
1 through 6.5.
So it's straight, no skipping? Okay. Is there any other sections in there that's not in chapter 6?
Graph and linear equation.
Okay, this is what I do. Do you do 6.5 or 6.6?
It says 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then graph and linear equation, and then test. Whatever, unless that.
Let me go look and see, because I want to see what the outline says. I thought y'all would have the outline.
I have it. I just don't want to get it out.
You wrote down the outline.
So I didn't have to tape it, I had to tape it.
You know what? At least he wrote it down.
I know, but it's almost like y'all go around the world. Okay, Hubert's done this, so I need to do this so I can, so I don't have to print it out.
There you go.
Oh,
It
there's
goes
tape.
6.1 through
Maybe you
6.
don't have a printer.
Hubert.
Yes, it is 6.6. Thank you. Mrs. Woodward's got it going on. Okay, thank you. You did good. Thank you for giving me your...
Talk to the hand.
I tried.
Okay, y'all listen up. Mark 6.1 through 6.5, Unit 2A test. 6.6 is your second Unit 2 test. Thank you. Thank you for contributing to the class and helping me out. Thank you. Now she's not talking to me. God, you're going to be such a wife one day.
Did you say unit 6.1 through 6.5 is...
Unit 2A. Your test will be called Unit 2A.
Okay. And what's the
And
other one
the
called?
6.6 will be Unit 2B. I'm breaking up Unit 2 into 2 tests. Why? Because it helps you out. And the first section is nothing but algebra. The second section is graphic. So I've split it up where you can concentrate on algebra and then concentrate on graphic and not mixing the two together. So that should help you out. Most people, it would help out. There'd be that one person, oh, I wish you'd put them together. I probably would have done better if you put the test together.
Are you
Okay.
done talking?
What?
Are you done talking?
Why?
I just saw something and I really wanted to say it.
Go ahead while I pull it up.
They spelled my name Witney.
Oh, that was very important.
I'm like squirrel.
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like squirrel, me squirrel. That's what it's like, me squirrel. Okay, 6.1. Y'all ready?
No.
And this is going to be order of operations. It should be. I don't know why they did order of operations in chapter 1. No?
You can keep the trig. I'll do the algebra.
I picked the wrong book.
I
I'm
was gonna
sorry.
say,
I might as well just quit for today. I hit the wrong button.
Just gonna walk out.
Yeah, be like the first class. Lock yourself out. The first class, the one of the Pendleton campus, their door was locked. The cleaning crew locked the door.
So what'd they do?
They just sat out in the hallway.
So what'd you do? Just watch?
I didn't know it till after the class was over. Because you know what would have happened if I'd known, I would have called somebody. They didn't want me to call anybody, so they didn't call me till 5 minutes before.
Oh, they got your phone number.
They called me on my cell phone. Yeah, what a concept.
You got mad, didn't you?
I got mad because they played the game, is what they did.
So what'd you do? Did you count them all absent?
Yep.
You did?
hmm
What'd they say?
I don't know. They'll find
They
out when
don't
they
tell
get their
your boss.
bureaucratic email.
Hee
Okay, here we go.
hee.
Sorry about that. I hope this is not trig. Order of operations. That's what it's supposed to be. I think we ought to learn trig today. Okay. Now I'm going to give you a little story. And did I tell you about the 3 guys going to the football game and missing $1?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's the story. See, I don't know why they told y'all to do order of operations in Unit 1 when it's in Unit 2. So, go figure. So, order of operations, y'all know how to do that now. Let me hit this, and we know that if it's brother and sister, I'm going to go over it again. When it's brother and sister, that means you go left to right. So let me hit the black pen. There we go. So you have brother and sister, you go left to right. So you have addition, subtraction, and then you have multiplication and division. If you have these two, you go left to right. If you have these two, you go left to right. If you have a mix of the two, if you have addition and subtraction, or addition and division, or division and subtraction, or addition and multiplication, that's cousins, and cousins go to where? Aunt Sally's house. Which means where? What? PIMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Mr. McClure, I don't understand what you're talking about. I've never heard of please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I've heard of PIMDAS though. Okay, so let's go ahead and just go to an example because I know we've done this and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. So, algebra. What is algebra? Algebra is taking, I'll tell you what algebra is. Here is math. 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. That's math. Algebra is taking one of those out that you don't know and replacing it with a question mark. And then a question mark is too redneck, so you have to replace the question mark with a variable, usually x. And that is the difference between math and algebra. Now, a lot of people, this is the redneck algebra. This is the redneck response. Well, why do you need algebra when you can just say 2 plus 3 is equal to 5? Well, you're missing the big picture. Nobody is going to walk up to you and replace a 3 with an x and say, what's 2 plus x is equal to 5? Algebra, mathematics, calculus, trig, geometry is all about making the problem-solving part of your brain more active. That's what it's about. If you go into a weight room and you do a bunch of squats and you've never done squats before, what's going to happen to your legs?
They're going to be hurt.
They're going to be sore the next day.
Sitting for a week.
Exactly. All right. Why? Because you haven't used those muscles. But if you go into a gym and you do one day, and you do 5 or 3 the next day, and 5 the next day, and you take about 2 weeks building up to 10, the soreness in your legs will be much less, whatever you call it, incapacitated. Okay? In other words, you will be able to walk. The whole point is, how do you exercise the problem-solving process of your brain? You do mathematics and science. That's how. Okay? So, I don't want anybody to have redneck disorder in here and say, algebra's stupid, it uses letters. Okay? We're beyond that now. Okay? Algebra, geometry, trig, calculus, all under the umbrella of mathematics. They train the problem-solving process of your brain. They train that process so when you do have to use it, you don't shut your brain down or you don't go, okay? That's what algebra is for. All of this fits under the umbrella of mathematics. And there's lots of other. There's linear algebra. There's advanced calculus. There's combinatorics. There's deciphering. There's all kinds. Business math, business calculus. There's all kinds of different. So when you do finish the 5 or 6 mathematics that you take, or the 2 or 3 mathematics that you take, you won't be a zombie when you walk into a business meeting or you walk into a budget meeting. You won't sit there and go, you know, you don't walk in like Patrick Starfish. So that's what algebra is for. It's to train the problem-solving process of your brain. Variables are letters. So if you want to, you know, redneck disorder, letters. If you don't want to have redneck disorder, they're called variables. And that's the X right there. A constant is a number. So just put number. Now, some people say a constant is a variable like pi. Okay? A constant sometimes can be referred to as a symbol or a variable that represents a constant number. Pi is a good example of a constant. Pi means 3.1415973, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't change. No matter where you pull up pi on your calculator, whether you're in China or in America, it's going to pull up 3.141597, period. So that's why it's called a constant. It is a symbol, and use pi in your notes because that is a symbol that represents a certain number. Okay, so here, these are called expressions. They're also called terms. Expressions do not have a what? An equal sign. If they do not have an equal sign, the only thing you can do with them is not solve them, Anybody know the other S word? Simplify. Good job. You cannot solve an expression. You can only simplify an expression. The only thing you can solve is an equation. That's probably the next slide. These are all examples of expressions. You can't simplify. You can simplify this one. 6x plus 9. Okay? That, I just simplified that expression. If you can't simplify it, if it ain't broke, what? Don't fix it. You can't do anything there. You can't do anything there. You can't do anything here. You reverse FOI, you can't do anything here because there's not a multiple of 3 that will give you 7. 1 times 3 will give you a 4 or a 2, so you can't do anything there. So all these numbers, these are what you call prime, because you can't what? You can't do anything to them. You can't break them up. Okay, you can't do anything to them. So associate those expressions that you can't do anything with. Associate those with those prime numbers, only you call them prime terms or prime expressions. Next probably be, this is a different set of slides. Equations. Terms, those are terms. 4x is a term, 3y, negative 3y is a term, and negative 5y. You put them together, you have an expression or a algebraic sentence. I want to write my sentence. That's a mathematical or an algebraic sentence. A numerical coefficient. That's these guys. Let me get my handy dandy highlighter. And here are your numerical coefficients. That's 4, a negative 3 or a 3 with a minus symbol in front of it, and a negative 5. Those are all coefficients. Coefficient is the number in front of the variable. Actually, this has a x to the 0 or y to the 0. You just don't see it. We're not going to get into it that deep. And they're telling you which one's the coefficients. What time is class over?
12.
Is it 12? Everybody agree that it's 12? I want to make sure. Some people I don't trust.
It's 12
What?
It's 12
12 what?
10.
Okay, so I thought so. You're going to lie to me. Like terms and unlike terms. An example of like terms, well, I'll just get there eventually. They shouldn't have put that, not put an example. Okay, like terms are 2t and 4t. 2t and 4t. 2t plus 4t is equal to what? 6t. 2 boxes of cereal plus 4 boxes of cereal equals 6 boxes of cereal. You don't say 2 boxes of cereal plus 4 boxes of cereal is equal to 6 boxes of cereal squared. Okay, that don't make any sense. 3 cans of OIL minus 2 cans of OIL is equal to 1 can of OIL. These are terms. What do you do with terms? You either add, subtract, multiply, or what? Divide. We'll get to the other ones later. Right now, let's just crawl before we can walk. Unlike terms would be like in your graphing, 2x plus 3y. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Can you do anything with that? No. That's like saying 2 boxes of cereal plus 3 cans of OIL Can you do anything with that? No, you can't do anything with that. So you just leave it what? Alone. And I know this is kind of redundant, and I know some of y'all have had Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. I'm trying to go as fast as I can without leaving people that haven't had it in a while. To simplify an expression means combine like terms, either by addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. Write these down. Excuse me.
This thing's in class.
I'm the master of this universe. Thank you very
Oh
much.
my God.
You are not the master
Y'all
of this universe.
sneezed at the same time, and it was real weird. Freaked me out.
God, that shouldn't be hard to do.
Oh my God.
Okay, what did I do here? I distributed A times B plus what? A times C. That's a very important rule. We will be using that rule in the near future. Very important rule.
Can we just put addition for a second?
Addition and multiplication. Addition and multiplication both. You just have to put commutative, put a plus and a multiplication symbol. Because what's 2 times 3? What's 3 times 2? Does it matter? No. What's 2 plus 3? What's 3 plus 2? 5. So it doesn't matter how you add or subtract or multiply numbers, does it? So you need to realize that the commutative law for addition and multiplication are the same. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 plus 3 is 5. 3 plus 2 is 5. The associative law with addition and multiplication means the same thing. Does it matter how I group them? 2 plus 3 plus 1 is the same as 2 plus 3 plus 1. Doesn't matter how you group them, same thing there. I'm not going to worry too much about these two because if you understand the commutative law, it really doesn't matter about these two because it doesn't matter. You get the same answer. And you should have heard of these back in grammar school. You know, back in about 5th, 6th grade, somewhere around there. Combine like terms. I've already showed you this. 3x plus 6x is what? 9x. Oh, you want me to go backwards? Hold on. There you go.
I just got the last one.
No, we'll wait on you. The whole class will wait. That's okay. How are we doing, Aisley?
Good.
Fantastic.
You didn't record, did you?
Yeah, I'm recording. Just in case somebody needs tutoring. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm done.
You know, going over it.
No, I'm done, bro.
Question. All right, so what is 3x plus 6x? 9x. What is 6x minus 3x? 3x. You act just like addition and subtraction. Okay, write that word evaluate. And also determine. Let's see if determine's next. I don't know if no, they don't do determine. Okay. Evaluate and determine both. Don't write down this. Write down plug and what? Plug and chug. When you see the words evaluate or determine, just put equals, plug and chug.
Should we put determine?
Yeah, determine. Because you're going to see it on the test. Because there's 2 types of questions that they will ask you. One is evaluate, and the other is determine. And both of them you're going to plug and chug before you do anything. I'm checking the time before y'all go into convulsions.
5 minutes.
I know. All right, there is an evaluation. Write that down because that's a test question. Negative x squared plus 3x plus 10. And x is equal to 2. So what are we going to do with that x?
Plug in 2 for every
Plug in for wherever there's an x and do the math. And I'm going to go ahead and write it down so y'all can look at it. There. Now, that's one question on the test, on the first test, not the graphing test. But I always give that question and I always give the determinant question. Why? Because these two questions are always on a standardized test. And why do I always include that? Because some of y'all are going to take a standardized test in the future, whether it be at Michelin or whether it be at BFE Industries or whether it be at ANMED or whether it be at Tri-County Tech as a placement or a, what do y'all call them things nurses go to? Practicals. You have to take a test. Yeah, clinicals. You have to take a test. And that's why I teach, especially in 155 and 120, I teach those questions that are on, and this is one. And you plug in the numbers. Now, what's going to kill you? The signs. That negative is in front of that x squared. There's not parentheses. So that means that the x has the parentheses and the negative is out front. Now, if it had a negative in the parentheses, that would be totally different. Okay? That would be a positive. But since the negative is out front of the x, it's treated as a negative. And you plug and chug, you get the answer. Why did we go left to right? Because these are two sisters or two brothers. Okay? Plus and plus. Those are brothers or sisters. They're not opposite because positive and negative is brother and sister. This would be either two brothers or two sisters. So you go left to right. Okay? These are equations. And I'm going to stop with equations. So y'all make sure I stop there. And I'm going to hit the record button. And easily, y'all are good.